But I know none of you right now got $1 million in your pocket. Because if you do, I'm going to take one of those metal things, hit you upside the head, and take it from you.
And then from there, it's 1, 2, 3. And we just continue to bang them out until we reach failure.
And that's how eventually, that's what coach is doing for you guys in the weight room. That's how you got to step out onto the field. In town. Or when coming around, you got to step out there and say, it's a disgrace for you guys to be on the field with me. Now I'm gonna ram my hand down your throat.
Hello everybody, this is Martin Rooney again, but this time we are not on location at the Parisi Speed School. We have the luxury today, we have Joe Ken here with us today and Scott Paltos, and we are at Arizona State University, which is what I consider the top college strength training program in the country. Today, we have got the opportunity to share a number of the secrets that we've put together over the years for our combine training. Now I gotta say, coaches out there, there's something to be said for networking. Joe Ken, who I consider a good friend of mine, he's brought me out here a number of times. This is a guy that just called me up one day out of the blue. We started a correspondence, and now this relationship has started where today we're going to put some great stuff on the table for everybody. So there's just something to be said, everybody, for picking up the phone, not having an ego and saying, hey, you know what, can you help me out? Is there something that you can give to me that can help add to our program? And I respect Joe more than almost anybody else because of that ability to do that. Now today, some people might say, why are you guys giving up some of the secrets that you use for the combine training? Why are you guys going to share some of the things that help you produce the fastest guys in the country every year? And why we've decided to do this is over the last 5 years, in what we consider arguably the best combine training program in the country, we've had the fastest guy in the 40-yard dash overall 3 out of the last 5 years. We've had the fastest guy at 11 different positions in the 40 over that time. And we've had the fastest shuttles, 60-yard shuttles, L drills out of any other program in the country as well. So today, what we want to do is even out the playing field. We want to make sure that every athlete has an opportunity to learn how to do these tests the best way possible. Think about it. This is our Olympic Games to us, and there are no secrets anymore, and we want to make sure that you understand that and that we're going to share everything that we know with you today. So let's get started. So guys, my name is Martin Rooney. This is Scott Paltos, and over the last number of years, we've run what is arguably the best combine training program in the country. You know, first thing I think what you guys have to do is you got to give your coach, you know, whether it's now or later, a round of applause for one, bringing us out here. But this is a guy that's in the trenches every day just figuring out, all he's about is trying to figure out how to make you guys better. Like this guy calls me just about once a week, and all he does is talk about you guys. And talk about, man, I got this guy, I need him to get a little faster. I got this guy, I need to work this with him. I got this guy, what can I do to get these guys better? And I'll tell you, I've been all over the country. There are not a lot of people that have somebody always looking out for them like that. So what we're going to cover today, this stuff, I can't consider it any more serious, especially if any of you guys have aspirations to play at the next level. So who wouldn't mind doing that? Who wouldn't mind going and playing in the NFL someday? Yeah, of course, right? Well, how about this? Who thinks running the 40 time of your life in front of the scouts or in front of at the NFL combine or, you know, NFL owners, who think that that's important to maybe making that dream happen? Who thinks it's important to run the best shuttle time of your life in front of those guys? Who thinks it's important to have the best vertical jump of your life? Who thinks it's important to have the best 60-yard shuttle? Who thinks it's important to bench more than you ever benched in your life before? And bench more than everybody else, so they're saying, man, this is the freak. This year's freak. Here he is. We got to give this guy some money. Who think that's important? Anybody watch a draft this year? Matt Jones, does anybody know who he is? 21st pick overall. Matt Jones, 6'6.5", ran a 4.32. 21st pick, $6 million signing bonus, probably, somewhere in that range. What do you think you guys could do with that if you made that happen? Now, how about this? Matt Jones, who I think is an awesome kid, love him to death. Now let's say he runs a 5.2. What do you think happens? Nothing. Was still a great football player. He's still who he is, SEC all-time leading quarterback rusher. But you got those numbers talk, okay? Super important to understand that. And it's nothing against the tests. It's not like, wow, these tests are all important. I'm a great football player. This isn't fair. It's just part of the system. It's how it works. Because these coaches need to figure out a distinguishing thing between you and everybody else. Think about it. Whatever position you play, you know how tall you're supposed to be, how much you should weigh, how fast you should be. And then you want to be better than all those things. And you got to know that stuff. You got to start living that stuff right now. So my challenge to you guys, what did you do this week to make yourself better when the big test day comes? Because we got about 9 months left. You guys realize that? In 9 months, you got to be the best guy you ever were in your entire life for one day, or maybe 2. What are you doing right now? Who woke up this morning and ate perfect, saying in 9 months, that's my Olympic Games coming up? Olympics. Who did it? Now, everybody a minute ago told me they want it. They want to make it. They want money. They want to make it happen. But then nobody did anything for it today. So that's what gets a little fuzzy, and that's going to be the kind of stuff that we're going to help out with is, if nothing else, we're going to motivate you to start changing how you think, which is super, super important. So how about this? Let's go to that. Olympic Games. Let's say every one of you guys just got picked for an event in Beijing at the Olympic Games. Would you start training for it? That's 2 years away, 3 years away. Would you guys go get the best coaching you could get for it? Would you eat right every day? Would you try to figure out your event and master every centimeter of it? Would you do that? Of course. Well, that's what we're here for today, to show you that your Olympic Games is only 9 months away, and you got a football season in between then, and everything else that you got to do, there's a limited amount of time you can focus on some things. But I'll tell you what, you got Joe Ken right there, and if you guys just put in 15 minutes to a half hour a week for the next 9 months, that's 30 or 40 hours of training you'll have ready, so then when it's time come to start training. Imagine the difference if you put in 30, 40 hours of training on these events. Could it help you out? What do you think? Or now let's say you don't put any time in until then, where you at? And you're banged up, season's over, beat up, not feeling so good. You know, so the thing is, your Olympic Games is coming, and this is the wake-up call about that. Because if you're real serious, because I'll tell you what, there's 350 guys that go to the combine, there's 250 that get drafted. And there's tons of people that don't go to the combine that get drafted. So the thing is, that number gets real small real quick. And if any of you guys know how the draft just went and everything else, if you're drafted 5th, 6th, 7th round, there's no guarantees with that either, and you sure didn't get rich. So the thing is, you guys got to maximize what you're doing and take advantage of that. And today, I guarantee the stuff that we're going to show you is going to be an opportunity to do that. And it's going to put a huge advantage for you forward, okay? Now, I got a couple principles to talk about combine training. Then Scott's going to talk about bag preparation and some of the things that we need to do that you guys have to start getting ready for. So first principle about combine training, it's something I call every rep, every set. If every rep and every set of what you do is geared towards being a success in what you want to get your goals done, you're going to be successful. But most of the time, most of the athletes we deal with, it's not how it works. You know, it's like, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, sometimes I'm focused, sometimes I'm not. We're talking about the rest of your life and your opportunity to take care of your families forever. Is that worth 9 months of focused training? What do you think? I mean, so it's a no-brainer. You got to do it. How about this? Who feels they eat as good as they could eat right now so that 9 months from now, your body is going to be a perfect fueled machine for that event? Nobody, right? So, I mean, what do you think? Do you think fuel's important, the right food right now? If you could be eating it right and changing every cell of your body, do you think that's important for 9 months from now? Well, it's time to start eating right. Because everything you put in there, that's into the machine, man. So every rep, every set, every piece of food you put in your mouth, and then all the training that you do and the focus, the visualization that you do every night of seeing yourself beating everybody at the NFL Combine 9 months from now, this has to become part of what you're doing all the time. And most of the time, nobody's doing that. You know who is doing that, though? The guys that end up being superstars next year. That's the difference, the attention to detail. Those 3 words are going to be key. The other part, recovery, which I know Joe talks about probably with you guys all the time. Recovery is critical. You can't train all the time and never get any recovery and get better from it. So you got to do something, recover from it. Do something, recover from it. That's what this training's all about. So the biggest mistake you can make is, man, I got 4 weeks till the combine. Now I'm going to really start training. I'm going to train all day, every day because I got to get better. It's too late at that point. You can't cram for it, okay? So we got every rep, every set, visualization of seeing yourself as the best, and we got proper recovery, which is critical. And then it's really mastering these tests inside and out. And a little bit goes a long way. So a little on top of a little eventually becomes a lot. And you're going to see today, we're going to give you everything we got. And then Joe's going to have all this for you all the time. Then it's going to be a question, then who is it up to at that point? You guys. All right? So Scott's going to talk a little bit about the bag and how to get ready and how to get set for everything. And then we're going to head outside and we're going to get started and get rolling.
Thanks a lot, Martin. Guys, being prepared is another principle that we always discuss and we're always talking about with our athletes. For all of our lives, and I say our lives because we're all athletes in here, okay? I've had an opportunity to play at the elite level, playing at the pro level, all throughout college also. Martin's had a chance to compete at the Olympic level. What you have to figure out and what you have to do is you always have to be prepared. We've always been student athletes, so we always have tests, yes or no. And for those tests, hopefully we're prepared. Sometimes we're not. And then the results of the test means either we got to go to summer school, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to study harder for the final. Now, if I gave you the answers to the test, how would you do? If I sat there and I sat down with every single one of you, handed you the answers, how would you do? Damn right, you better do well. You better get 100.
Yeah, not just A+.
Not just
100.
A, you get 100. Now, if you're real smart, maybe you answer one wrong so it doesn't look like you cheated. But you're prepared for that test better than anyone could ever prepare you because you have the answers. That's what we do with our athletes consistently. We give them the answers to these tests, these evaluations, all these different things that go into what your football career can become. Along with that comes the preparation for it, whether it's just a test, whether it's understanding that it's an everyday thing at the office when you go to the combine, when you have your pro day. You look around at other athletes you compete with, all of a sudden it's a monsoon and you still got to run outside. Do you have the right shoes? Do you have the right gear? It's packing a bag, all right? It's packing a bag like a hockey player who has these huge bags that they got to carry on their back because you have to have 3 or 4 different pairs of shoes. You got to have 2 or 3 pairs of socks, 2 or 3 pairs of underwear, sweatshirts. You don't know if it's going to be cold that day. All of a sudden you may be thinking, oh, we're running outside. All of a sudden the scout says, no, I don't want to run outside. All of a sudden you could be in Indianapolis for the combine and there's a leak. Now you're not running inside. Now you're running over, at the RCA somewhere else, down the street from the RCA dome. You always have to be prepared for what's ahead of you. And what we're going to go over for the next few hours, okay, is that preparation phase. Being prepared to be the utmost and the best you can possibly be at that point. Do all these tests mean do or die for you to continue your career? No. But you know what? The opportunities that can come from them are that much greater.
All right, first thing we're going to do today is we're going to do the dynamic warm-up. Now, there's a ton of different dynamic warm-ups out there that people do. This is just the one that we've put together and the one that we use before combine training. Now, the thing you got to remember is today we're doing it as a training tool, not as like a run your best time kind of thing. So before the combine, we actually shorten a lot of the tests or the actual exercises and bring down the reps and sets so there's not as much. So I'm not going to lie, today's going to be tough. It's going to test your conditioning, but remember, if we get through it good, it's only going to take about 18 minutes to do it, all right? So all we're looking about is 18 minutes, but what I'm asking from you is perfect performance. So the thing is, if your arms are perfect every time you do it, are your arms going to have a better chance to be good or worse when you run your 40? Better. If your ankle position is perfect, if your core position is perfect, what do you have? A better chance or worse chance? Better. So like everything's about perfect practice. So if you guys have heard before, practice makes perfect, that's wrong. It's perfect practice makes perfect. And that's what we're going to be asking today. Now, what's the first thing you got to do before every test? So say you want to run the 40 of your life. What do you got to do first? Stretch. Not stretch. See, everybody gives me the answer stretch. It's warm up. And here's the thing. So during the 40, how many times are we like this? Or how many times in a football game am I like that? Never. So what happens is that's not the way you warm up for what we're about to do. So we're going to stretch, but it's going to be stretching through fast movements, not through sticking and holding. So remember, slow static stretches, that stuff used at the end of what you do, not in the beginning, all right? Because what it does, it shuts off your nervous system and puts things to sleep. So we want to make sure we're never doing that. So change how you think. So everybody always says stretch. It's like in everybody's head, but that's not what we're doing when we're here, all right? What we're going to do, we're going to warm up, and that's going to be the thing. So first step before every test, warm up. Then we're going to go over what the next piece is after we get that. The big challenge is I want everybody's shoes, everybody's socks off right now. And everybody always looks at me crazy when I do this. Socks too.
You know they got like,
Mites?
nah, they got glass in it.
Broken glass?
Yeah.
Come on, for real?
Fiberglass.
All right, now here's the thing. Somebody tell me why we're taking the shoes and socks off for the warm-up.
Cause it feels better.
It ain't about feeling better. Now here's the thing. Check, yeah, but see, that, he just said, he goes, man, when I was little, we used to run around like this, but now I don't do that anymore. Now here's the thing. Imagine your hands were super weak, right? Imagine your hands are weak. They got no strength. How much are you gonna lift? How much can you deadlift off the floor? How many chin-ups can you do? How well are you gonna bench? You're not, because all those muscles that connect to this connect to here, and then they flow into here. So the thing is, what's pretty neat is the architecture, the bone structure, the tendons, ligaments, and the muscles in your hand are almost identical to the stuff that happens in your feet. Now, how many of you guys ever thought about strengthening your feet? To get your feet stronger, and now your foot is stronger, lower leg is stronger, now you got a better chance to put force into the ground, now you got a better chance to react off the ground and feel that ground better. Then we got something that we're talking, now we're talking. So how do we take a guy that, I heard you guys saying, man, this guy runs a 4.4, I want him to get a run a 4.3. Getting your feet way stronger could be the ticket to that without changing anything else. So we're gonna change how you guys think. So Joe Ken, this coming summer, everybody's doing the warm-up barefooted from now on. Because we're gonna strengthen those feet up. Now here's the thing too. How many times have you heard of people having foot problems? Plantar fasciitis, heel spur. Yeah, see, you got that right now. Well, I guarantee you start training like this all the time, it's gone. Because you go to countries in the world, which there's tons of them that people don't wear shoes, there ain't no problems with anybody's feet. But you come to this country and you go to any aisle in the drugstore, there's a whole aisle for bunions, corns, hammer toes, plantar fasciitis, heel spur, all this stuff because of the shoes that we're wearing. And think about it, what's the first thing you do when you wake up? Put on your shoes. What's the last thing you do before you go to bed? Take them off. So the thing is, we're gonna start training to get everything strong. All right, so now take your shoes, get them out of the way a little bit, and I'm gonna show you something that we call active walking. Chris is feeling it out. He's like, oh man. We're gonna see who's the tenderfoot. You can just leave him there, guys, not too far. Now what I want is everybody on this line right here. So I want everybody on the 5. And what we're gonna do right now, I just want you guys to just walk right here to the 10-yard line. Just walk there, regular, and feel what, and just picture in your head what it feels like, just walking. All right? So get a mental picture in your head what that is. Now turn around. And now when you walk back, what I want you to do is when you walk back, I want you to actually still walk normal, but as your foot hits the ground, I want you to curl and pull. Curl and pull. Actively walk, ripping into the ground with those feet and using those muscles in the lower leg and feet and feel what that feels like when you walk back. Still walking normal, but let that foot curl and pull, curl and pull, curl and pull. You guys feel that? Does it feel different when you do that? Do you feel like you're all of a sudden activating stuff you haven't been activating when you put on a pair of shoes and just let your feet go to sleep? Well, this is huge to understand because that's what we're going to be doing on everything we do with the drills, all right? So what I want you to understand is when we do this, you might feel like, man, my feet aren't that strong, or tomorrow you might be like, man, my calves are pretty beat up. I can't believe this. That's okay, because you know what? That means, hey, this was an area that was weak. We got to make it strong, and it's not going to get strong overnight. Just like nobody's going to bench 500 pounds just because they want to in a couple of workouts either. But it's just changing how you think and always making you better, all right? Now, what we're going to hit here, we're going to start into the warm-up. Like I said before, the warm-up is about perfect positions. Every position you follow has to be perfect. First position I want you guys to understand is the toe-up position. I want you to always think about having that ankle pulled up, and I want you to always be landing on the balls of the feet with everything you do, okay? It's going to activate the mechanism at the sole of your foot to create stiffness around your foot so that you're not hanging from the ligaments that then all of a sudden people have heel spurs and bone problems. I want you to be using the musculature and the tendons to be hanging from that. That's how you're actively making something happen. First exercise we're going to do, we'll get everybody on the line right here. Chris is hiding in the shadows over there. We're going to have the hands behind the head, chest up, head up, and all we're going to do is we're going to squat all the way down, all the way up, sitting our butt back just like a box squat. We're going to get 8 of those right now. Hands behind the head, interlock the fingers, chest up, ready, and go. 1, 2, get a little speed, 3, 4, we're timing it, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now what we're going to do is a jumping jack. Now with a jumping jack, most of the time, or here, Chris, show me what a jumping jack looks like to you. All right, and not bad right there. Usually, most people, when they show me a jumping jack, it looks like this. They're like, hey, you know, Gabe, how's the day, man? You know, what's going on? And paying no attention to what you're doing. So think of it as every exercise is your opportunity. It's your opportunity to either get better or it's your opportunity to get worse. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say, what is the perfect way to do a jumping jack? And what that is keeping the toes pulled up. Your feet are gonna spend as little time on the ground as possible to get a plyometric. Your arms are gonna be all the way over to the head, full stretch, touching at the top, so we're lengthening our musculature and getting blood flow to the muscles, joints, everything, okay? So what we're gonna do right now, 8 jumping jacks, keeping the toes pulled up, feet on and off the ground, arms all the way up. Ready, and go. 1, 2, reach up, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Nice. So you see how there's a different attention to detail? It's those 3 words, guys. Attention to detail. Every rep, every set. Important. Next one, hands are out. Feet are together. What we're gonna do is we're gonna jump, open all the way up, huge stretch on the chest, then bring it back together. So we're gonna open, close, on and off the ground again as quick as possible. Stay up here, just spread out a little bit. We're gonna get 8 of those. Arms out, hands out, ready, and go. 1, 2, 3, big stretch, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Nice. Now, hands are out, feet are out, because I saw you cross your feet a second ago. You cross them, now we're gonna get to that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna jump, cross the arms and legs. Then we're gonna open all the way up and then switch them. But when we hit, again, Chris, remember, feet on and off, spending as little time on the ground as possible, like you're on hot coals, just on, off, on, off. Big stretch on the arms, making everything happen there. Ready, 8, and go. 1, 2, cross the feet, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Nice. Now, those first 4 exercises, we got the prisoner squat, jumping jack, seal jump, cross the arms and legs. Now we're gonna do them how we do them every day. Those 4, we're gonna do all 4 of those in a row, and we're gonna do 2 more sets straight through. So we're gonna go, pretend we're here, it's 7, 8, 7, 8, 7, 8. So we're just gonna move right through. You see what I mean? So we're gonna get 8, 8, 8, 8, all in a row, no stop, and then we're gonna start right back up again at the beginning and do it again. And we usually do 3 sets of those, but we're gonna just do 2 in a row right now, all right? Ready, hands behind the head, 8, ready, and go. 1, 2, get deep, 3, get down there, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, jumping jacks. 1, reach up, 2, 3, toes on the ground, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, seals. 1, 2, big stretch, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, crosses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Prisoner squats back in again. Ready, and go. Let's go, Chris. 1, 2, 3. The combine superstar. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Jumping jacks. 1, reach. 2, don't get lazy. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Seals. 1, 2, big stretch. 3, 4, 5, 6. Feel the feet on the ground. 7, and 8. Crosses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Whose feet are burning a little bit? Who feels that in the calves a little bit? So a lot of people that are going to see this video, they're going to think, man, you know, what did they do? They just did some jumping jacks and stuff. That's nothing. Well, one thing you got to remember is, one, aside from Chris, you guys have an extra amount of weight going on right there. So there's a lot of force that's taking place into the ground. But even more important than that, you're using your musculature like you haven't used it before. So you guys can bench all day. Then someday when you move to incline bench, you'll be like, man, I'm sore. Same muscles, but a different way that you're using them, so they're sore from that. So, but what I want you to see is, don't get frustrated by it, get fascinated by it. Say, man, this is something all new. This is a way I can get better because I'm doing something different, all right? Now, the next part we're gonna do is pogo jumps. We're gonna stay on the line, hands are gonna be right here, and all we're gonna do is just on and off the ground as fast as we can, using our arms like a jackhammer. We're gonna do 50 hops, full speed, as fast as we can. 50, ready. You count them in your head, and go. Full speed, on and off, keeping the knees straight, pull those toes on and off, slap those feet off the ground, pump those arms, Chris, pump those arms. That's it. Like a jackhammer, like a jackhammer. Come on, fast as possible, fast as possible. Get your 50, don't be the last one done. They're looking over. All right, now we're gonna rest a few seconds and we're gonna do it again, 3 sets. And here's the thing. what I like to do is time myself how fast I can do those 50, and every week I try to get faster than I was the week before. Because right now, you see how some of you, it's like, it's hard to get it moving quick right now because your nervous system isn't ready to make that happen. Yeah, up here. But think about it. What's running a fast 40? It's about getting that nervous system to make something happen. It's about making that foot hit and come off the ground faster than anybody else's. Those are all techniques, or actually motor programs that you got to get going in your body. All right, so let's go. 50 more. Ready? And go. So tap into it. Stay loose, loose jaw. Just like you're running a 40, tap into it. Fast arms, fast feet. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. Come on, Chris, show us where that 4-3 came from. Feeling it in the calves? Feeling that a little bit? Feel different than you're used to? Yeah. We're gonna go 50 more again in a second. Think about it as just turning it on, turn it off. Keep the loose jaw, because someday when you run that 40, you gotta be relaxed, but you gotta be fast. It's like having the ultimate sense of urgency, but you gotta be loose when you do it. You know what I mean? Gotta be relaxed. 50 more, ready? And go. Full speed. Tap into it, fast arms. Make the arms make it happen. On and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. You guys feeling it? Shake them out a little bit. Shake them out. Feel those calves. Because here's the thing: a lot of people in the training community have kind of backed off on how strong your calves need to be or how strong your feet need to be. Well, I'll tell you what. I think they're wrong. You know, everything's like, oh, hamstrings, glutes, got to be strong. The whole thing is, if your calf and your Achilles tendon, which stores all that energy, and your feet are weak and you're not training it, you're making a big mistake. So instead of worrying about it in the weight room, we're going to worry about it here. We're going to make that stuff happen, which is huge. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to go same thing, but now higher. And now, instead of the arms being just here, we're going to use the arms almost like a triple jumper. So we're going to jump now, 10. Good call though, Chris. You're thinking ahead. So now we're jumping up and we're pulling the toes up after each jump. Chris will do 50 because he's into it, because he wants to. But what you're going to do is just right here, it's just 10 jumps, pulling the toes up. Ready, and go. But right off the ground and right back up, Chris. Pull the toes up after each jump, Chris. Pull them up. Get 10. Now, as you can see, this drill, you want to be the last one done because that means you're jumping the highest. So you see how Chris was the last one done on that one, first one done on the other. So remember, it's all about technique though. Nobody's gonna do it perfect today, but the thing is, if you work at it, work at it, work at it, you try to think like, I train a lot of martial artists, and everything that they do has to be perfect. You know what I mean? If you guys have ever seen the Gracie family and the Ultimate Fighters, those guys train to precision. You can't make a mistake. The move can't be a little bit wrong or it doesn't work. Well, it's the same thing with this stuff. If your technique is wrong when you do this, you're not getting everything you could get out of it, and then you can't be upset if you don't get the results you want when it's combine time. So let's make it happen. 10 more. Ready? Perfect form, and go. Explode up, toes pulled up after each jump. Explode up. That's a little better. Throw the arms, throw the arms. That's it, Chris. I'm gonna check Chris's pants for springs. Kid's leaping. That's where that 45 vert came from. He's laughing. All right, then we got one more set. One more set. 10 more. You guys ready? And go. 1, 2, 3. Get up. Toes up. 4. Pull the ankles up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. Now, first position that we talked about in importance is the strength of the feet, strength of the calves, keeping that ankle pulled up. Really, really important. Something that we're looking at all the time. You got to start focusing down on that. Even a little trick is, whenever you're walking, even with the shoe on, still work the feet. Certain times of the day, just take your shoes off, work your feet, work your feet. Think about, man, I'm making them stronger. Just like you want to have claws out on the football field, you want to have those same claws in your feet when you're running, trying to, make something happen. Second position that's really important is arms at 90 degrees. So right now, I want everybody's arms at 90 degrees, elbows are in, hands are open, okay? I like the hands open, one, because it's a useful, position to be in anytime you're out on the field or anything else, because having your hands closed doesn't make a lot of things happen, all right? Now, with those hands open, the arm is at 90-degree angle, which is important, okay? When the hands move, where we want it is we want the hand to move where the hand comes back to the hip or a little past the hip, and we want the other hand out in front of you where you can see it. The biggest mistake that I see a lot of people make, and the breakthrough that we had, is this angle right here where my elbow is in front of my body is critical. What a lot of people do is they bring the arm back, but then when they bring the arm up, they bend the arm and the elbow doesn't go anywhere. So now my hand's kind of at my chin, but the big mistake there is now, because it's related to how high the knee drives, they're not driving the knee up anymore. All right? So the thing is, you're going to see knee drive when we run is critical to putting force into the ground with the glutes and hammies that you guys have been working so much on. Okay? So we want to make sure that that arm comes up and every bit of your hand is out in front of your face where you can see it. So when you're running the fastest 40 of your life, all you're eventually thinking about is seeing my hands flying in front of me, just gone. All right? Now, what we're going to do right now, everybody's arms at 90 degrees, and all we're going to do is let's just work the arms. Relax traps, chin, jaw loose, and we're just going to fire those arms. But remember, not that that hand goes over your head. So Gabe, not the hand over your head, just keep it in front of your face. Keep that hand in front of your face where you can see the whole hand. Fire that elbow back. You should feel a stretch in the chest. Chris, drive that elbow back. Head up. Discipline, Chris. Chris is like, man, I ran a 4.3 already. I don't need to do none of this. He's like, I jumped 45 inches. Fire those arms, because here's the thing, guys. 30 minutes a night, our combine guys, when they come and stay with us for 8 weeks, 30 minutes a night, they're doing this in the mirror. 30 minutes mandatory. You know what? They're going to do it because it's important to them at that point. You could stop for a sec. But how many of you guys feel like you're doing that perfect? How many of you feel like it's just automatic? You could just do it perfect when you're running your 40, you're out on the field. And probably it's nobody yet. But the thing is, now work on it a half hour a day and keep working on it a half hour a day, it's going to get real easy. And then when the time comes to make that happen, for you to call upon yourself for perfect form, it's easy to do. And that's what practice is, man. That's what it's about. Like, you can say, man, I saw it today, I got it. Or you can say, you know what, I know the only way to get to be successful is through hard work. There's no tricks. There's no gimmicks anymore. All right, and that's what it's about. It's just blue collar, getting in there and putting in the work and the time. And these positions are critical, because if you can't do it right, we stop until you can. But now what we're going to do is we're going to do all the drills right now. We'll just do them from the 15 to the 20-yard line. The next drill is now we're going to put everything together. We're going to skip down to the 20-yard line, but I want to see perfect skipping. The arms are at 90 degrees. The head is up. The chest is up. We're going to have the toe pulled up, opposite arm, opposite leg, and the knee up to about almost 90 degrees. So what we want to see is right here, perfect form, not skipping for speed, not skipping for distance, just perfect form, making it happen. Because if you can't skip perfect, you can't run perfect. So we want to see that right now. So what we're going to do, we're going to skip down to the 20-yard line, arms at 90. So start at arms at 90, lock them in, lock them in, lock them in. Ready, and go. Opposite arm, opposite leg, there we go. Now, guys, one of the things, let's come back, just bring it right back to the line. We got to move here, because we're taking a lot of time teaching this. One of the things I want you to see, what you're doing right there is when your hand comes back, you're bending your wrist and folding it. That's like something I just hate seeing that, because this, check it out, this takes more time than that. You see what I mean? So don't get here and turn and bend. Everything stays right here. So bring that elbow back hard and up. So on this next set back, I want to see you guys be aggressive with your upper body. What does an Olympic sprinter's upper body look like? Hey, he's jacked, like Chris, he's jacked. But the thing is, that's because the upper body is critical in how fast you can run. It is, it's important. So again, when you get in there, boom, 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 fire those arms, be aggressive, but make the form perfect every rep. Let's see it. So on the way back, focus down, hard reps, and whatever knee you kick up first, kick up the other arm, and you'll make sure you're doing it right off the bat. So arms at 90, lock those thumbs open, hands open so you fire it. Ready, and go. Fire those arms. Hands out front where you can see them, hands out front where you can see them. I like it, I like it. And again, this is going to take work. It's not something you're going to have overnight. But the thing is, the more and more you practice this stuff and you're aware of it, that's the first step. The first step to making differences is knowing what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right. Now, what we're going to do here, everybody's going to get down in this position right here. I want to see it down, and what, you could call it the athletic position, facing this way, Chris. So we're facing this way. But now, you see how my shoulder blades are pulled back? You see where they're at? So my shoulder blades are pinched together, then I sink down, and I'm right here. Everybody get down there right now. Shoulder blades back, sink it down. That shoulder blade position and pulling it back is key to locking the rest of the posture in. And you're going to see how it's important for your start in the 40 and a bunch of the other tests that we do. So everybody down there, everybody down there. What we're going to do right now, side shuffle. We're going to be down. We're going to face this way. Our feet are going to face this way, and we're just going to move our feet on and off the ground full speed, stay in the same height the whole time when we move. So everybody down, everybody down. Ready, and go. Shoulder blades back, shoulder blades back. Keep them there, keep them there, keep them there, keep them there. Get low, stay low, stay low, stay low. Chris is feeling it, Chris is feeling it. Where you guys going? Get back on the line. You guys are running right out of the building. All right, now, doing the same thing coming back, staying low. Why we're working this, we got to strengthen the hip abductors, the groin. Half the tests you guys are going to get tested in, and half of the movements you ever do on the football field are going to be moving laterally. Yet how much sometimes do the guys work on that? They don't. So you got to pay attention to this stuff. It's not just running straight ahead, squatting, all the movements straight ahead. We got to move side to side too, so get down, ready. Stay low, shoulder blades back, and go. Fast feet, stay low, fast feet. Keep the feet facing me, keep the feet facing me. That's it. Nice. You guys feeling that? Well, that's why we got to keep moving. All right, facing this way, let's get down. Same position this time, but now, arms at 90 degrees. This is one that most people have a lot of trouble with the first time they ever try it out. A lot of trouble with because they've never seen it before. It's called the side run. Now, why we teach this is because the side run is critical to making sure that you guys can do the L drill and the 5-10-5 perfectly how we want to do it. Side run, as I said a second ago, is critical to our 5-10-5 and our L drill. So you're going to see that every drill that we do in here kind of builds off of what we do, and we're trying to build together the events that we're going to put you through. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to get down, arms at 90 degrees, but what we're going to do is we're going to run sideways, but we're going to stay facing this way. So, and we're only going to step with our foot in front of the other foot. So on the way there, you're going to step with your left foot in front of your right foot only, okay? The hardest thing to break is a lot of people do the karaoke. We've removed the karaoke from our program because we don't want to ever be standing like this with our feet behind our other feet, because either then you're getting burned or you're getting laid out, all right? Or if you're like Chris, after he does something big, you just stand like that. So we're going to get down, we're going to stay low. What's that? And the arm's going to stay at 90 degrees, and it's opposite arm, opposite leg firing. So when your left leg fires, right arm's pumping up. Staying low, shoulder blades back, arms at 90, arms at 90. There we go, Gabe. Ready, and go. Crossover, crossover, crossing it over, crossing it over. They're not bad, but here's the thing. We want to see a whole lot more speed with that, so staying lower, bigger steps. You see, Chris, you were kind of just like that. We want to see down, and you're really tracking, like you're tracking somebody and making it happen. Staying low, getting down. Ready, go. Staying low, staying low, staying low, staying low. That's the idea, not bad. Now here's the thing. The only thing I would change about that, now, what we're going to do right now, just a backwards cycle. One of the things that I think is real interesting is almost like, you know, if you've ever seen somebody that is like a pitcher, or somebody that does something only on one side of his body all the time, he builds up instabilities. Well, the thing is, I think the same way about just people that only run forwards all the time and they don't focus on running backwards at all. So what we're going to do is, now we're going to do a backwards cycle. Right from there, you're going to have your head up, your chest up. We're going to be tall, but now we're almost going to reverse the running process where now the heel comes up, kicks back. We take as big a stride as possible backwards, and we're just running backwards down to the line. So arms at 90, head up, chest up, kicking that heel up and back. Ready, and go. Jump back, fire the arms, fire the arms. That's it, Gabe. That's it, guys, that looked good, solid. And then bringing it back in. What's that? That one looked good. That was your best one. Ready? Arms at 90 though. Perfect form, perfect form. Ready? Go. Perfect form, perfect form, perfect form. Nice. Good. All right, back on the line. Now, I'm not going to lie to you here. This next part is kind of torture. It's not fun. And then what we're going to do is we're going to, after that, we'll see what we're going to go to next. Right now, we're going to get down in that athletic position again, shoulder blades pulled back. We're going to bring feet together, feet apart, full speed for 10, and then we're going to stick and hold. Now, when we stick and hold, our feet are down, but we're going to drive our feet out as if we're trying to rip the floor apart as hard as possible. Feet aren't going to move, but we're going to drive out, activating those hip abductors, which are critical in an area that most people don't work. We're going to hold for 10 seconds. I'm going to count it down. Then we're going to do 10 more, hold for 10, 10 more, hold for 10. So just 30 seconds, that's all we're asking, but you're going to feel something like you never felt before if you do it right. So everybody down. 10 full speed, side to side, shoulder blades back. Hold that position, lock in. Ready, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and hold. Now remember, feet together, drive the feet out with everything you got. And I want to see better together and apart next time you do it. 5, 4, stay down, Chris. 3, 2, 1, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Chris, what's going on? Chris is doing the dance. Get down, Chris. Stay down there. Shoulder blades back. Chest up. Push those feet out. Drive them out. Everything you got. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Last one. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and hold. Who's feeling it? 9, 8, drive the feet out. 7, drive those heels out. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice, stand up. Now I know that's not easy. Now with our guys, we'll eventually work up to 5 sets of that, and then another 5 of the next thing. We're gonna go all in consecutive, no breaks in between. Now here's the thing, I'll make you this promise though too. First time you do it, it's hard and it burns and it hurts, but after 2-3 weeks of doing it, it's a true warm-up, it's easy. And think about it, what kind of confidence does that give you when you know your warm-up is harder than most people's workout and it's easy for you? You know, what does that tell you when you get out there? It tells you you're in shape. Think about it, when you step onto the field and you got nothing to be afraid of because you know you're at the best you could be, are you more confident or less confident? You know, so I mean, that's something that we try to hand to our people every day. It's a big piece. Now what we're gonna do is the next one is called a gate swing. We're gonna start with our feet together. You can we'll keep the hands on the knees today just to teach it like this. We're gonna jump and sink our feet out into the ground. So you know how it's hot here, why we got our shoes back on, because it's so hot. Imagine the hottest part you're on is standing right here in the center, and out here is the cold water that we're standing in. So we're gonna be from the hot to the cold water sink, hot, cold water and sink, hot, cold water. And you see how when I sink down, my legs are turned out and I'm sinking down, getting a great groin stretch. We're dynamically stretching the groin out a little bit, but we're burning the legs. After the 10th one, we come back to the original position and drive the feet out. We're gonna go 3 sets, 10 holds. And then this is the hardest part. I'll do it with you. Ready? 10 jumps, 10-second hold. 10 jump, 10-second hold, 10 jump, 10-second hold. Shoulder blades back, focus on position. Ready, and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now bring it back to the original position. Stick, drive the feet out, drive the heels out. Turn your heels out and drive them out with everything you got. Shoulder blades pulled back. Drive those heels out. Feel it in the hips. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, let's go. 1, 2, come on. 3, 4, 5, 6. Sink down, Shane. 7, 8. Chris is feeling it. 9, 10, and hold. Drive them out. Butt down, butt down. Come on, Gabe. Shoulder blades back. Butt down. Position. We don't got much more to go. 5, 4. Chris. 3, 2, 1, and go. Last one. Come on. 1, 2. Come on. 3, 4. You're gonna make it. Come on. 5, 6, 7. Let's go. 8, 9, 10, and hold. Last 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Get down there. That's all we're asking here. Chris. 5, 4, 3, 2, and stand. Now again, for the people at home on that video, they're gonna be like, what is this? These guys are at Arizona State, that doesn't look that hard. And what I always put the challenge out is, hey, put this tape on, do exactly what these guys are doing and see what it feels like. And be 300 pounds, and then try it out. So again, you guys are doing great. What we're gonna be going now is we're gonna start breaking down the tests. And I think one of the things about the test that makes it different is it's really understanding it inside and out. A lot of times, unfortunately, what people think about the tests is, okay, this is the 5, 10, 5. So I run 5 yards that way, 10 yards back, 5 yards that way. I'll do it any way I do it, but I'll just try to practice it a lot and get faster at the way that I do it. The difference that we bring to the table is we're gonna teach you the best way to do it. We're gonna break down every piece from the beginning, and until you can do each piece or each inch of it perfect, we don't let you move any further into the race. You see what I mean? So there is no imperfect form. It's not just run the drill because it's the drill, it's learn to do the drill perfect, then we practice it faster and faster and faster. So one of the 2 principles that we have in training that we're gonna go over is slow to fast. So we're gonna learn everything slow, controlled, and perfect, and then eventually do it fast. And then the other principle that's really big that we're going to use is that we're going to build the race outwards, not build it from the back in. So like, for instance, the 40-yard dash, a lot of guys will come to us and say, hey man, we run we were running 100-yard sprint, 1600s, and then we'll bring it down to 1660s, and then we'll bring it down to 40s. Well, the thing is, you're never learning how to run that 40 right. You're making a big mistake by doing that. So we're not building the race from the back in, we're building it from the beginning out, if that makes sense, okay? And just as a teaching tool for you guys right now, which I think is important, I want you to think of 2 things, quality and intensity, okay? Right now, today, I want super high quality, low intensity, because here's what usually happens when guys do things. Then they try to run it really, really fast and they run it really, really bad. And now maybe your time's pretty good, but now you can't imagine what it could be when you run things. So for the 5:10.5, for instance, we've produced, you know, the fastest 5:10.5 at the combine, I think 4 out of the last 5 years, and we've had guys run 3.7s consistently. So 3.7s. We've had 300-pound guys run 4 flats. You know, so when you start to see those times, and it's not any like that guy was a great athlete or any better than you guys could be, it's that they had a better understanding of the test. And they knew how to do it, they practiced it correctly, and it became another day at the office. It's like we talked about. If you can build a motor program of perfection, that you know how to do this test perfectly and you know what a perfect one feels like, you can hit that any day of the week. You know what I mean? So this is what we're going to put work on today and what we're going to start putting together. Somebody tell me right now, how do you know what your 5:10.5 time should be? How do you gauge it?
40.
And what from your 40?
It's like something like supposed to be less than your 40, but I forgot what.
5/10, what we aim for is 5/10 or more less than your 40. So if you run a 4.3, you better run a 3.7. Yeah, but that's what it should be. That's how it works out. So and we do it all the time. Last year, Dante Robinson, 4.34 on the laser at the combine, timed in the 4.2s on the hands, 3.75 on the on the time for the shuttle. So every time you want to be about 5/10. What that gives a scout an opportunity to see is, okay, this guy might be a track star straight ahead, but can he move side to side? But what can be unfair is you can be a track star straight ahead, still move side to side well, but you don't know how to do the race. And now it doesn't look so good anymore. So we're going to make sure that that doesn't happen, all right? And we're going to start off with things. So here's our teaching tools, how we always go. What's the first thing we do before any test? Warm up. Now we're getting the answers. What's the second thing? So now the test has begun. You're about to go. What's the most important part of every test that you got to do next? Well, after the warm up. So you're about to get online to run your 5:10.5. What do you got to do? What has to be perfect? All right, well, all those things should have happened, the breathing, the visualization, all that. We already got he said setup, which we call the stance. So here's the thing, your initial stance has to be perfect in the 40, in the L, in this one. If the stance is wrong, first step is wrong. First step is wrong, first 5 is wrong. First 5 is wrong, the race is over. But most of the time, most people don't pay any attention to that initial stance. I've watched guys walk up in the 40 and they don't know which foot they're gonna put forward. You know, or I've watched guys walk up in the shuttle, they don't know should I go left or right? You know, this is the most important day of your lives. This is your Olympic event. You think Maurice Green gets down in the 100 meters and he's like, man, I wonder which foot I'm going to put forward today. You know, it's just not how it works. You guys have to have that same attention to detail, and you got to know what you're going to do. You got to walk in there. We've had guys, a guy, Kevin Casper, 2001, had the all-time record of 3.75 until Dante tied it, and he got in there and he goes, I'm about to run a 3.75, and the guy was like, yeah, whatever, let's see it. And he did it, and then they made him run it again, just because they couldn't believe it. So the thing is, when you know what you're going to do, that's a state of confidence that, you know, when you bring it to the table, it's a piece of cake to make results happen. And that's what we want to see with you guys. So guys, the 5:10.5, it's also known as the 20-yard shuttle. It's known as the pro agility. Is it the ultimate measurement of how agile you are on the football field or anything else? No. But is it something that you're going to be tested in? Yes. So is it something you should learn how to do perfectly? Yes, and that's what we're going to go over now. So using Scott, we talked about the first thing you got to do before every test is what, Chris? Warm up. Second thing is what? Stance. And now we're going to talk about the stance a little bit. And first, though, we're going to talk about common errors in the stance before we even talk about our stance and how we came to develop it. One of the most common errors right now is, as you can see, Scott is really crouched down. So right now he's got a lot of weight on his legs, but he's also got, if you notice by the white knuckles, he's got a lot of weight on his hand. Now, for everybody that hasn't asked that before, how fast do you run on your hands? Not so fast. So how much weight do you want on those hands? None. Actually none. So 0. You want the hand to touch the ground, but you don't want any weight on the hand at all. Okay? So again, the rules of the test are feet have to straddle the line and hand has to be on the line, but from there it doesn't matter what hand. You know, a lot of times it doesn't matter completely where your feet are. These are all things that we're going to take into account. We're going to show why it's important. Now, other mistakes that guys make is when they get down there, they sink so low and they bring the head up. So now they're looking at the guys. So right here, whenever you see folds of skin on the back of somebody's neck, that tells me that their posture is off. And if your posture is off, now you can't be in a great position to start moving yourself. So if anybody's ever run a 40 before, Did you ever run it like this? Like, because you're not going to run fast like that. And in a football game, you ever see a guy like break away, but his body starts to come back like this? That guy gets caught from behind because now his posture's broken and he's starting to slow down all over the place. All right? So we want to make sure. What that tells us is head position has to be where we want it, leg position has to be where we want it, foot position has to be where we want it, and we want to make sure the weight is distributed correctly for what we're trying to get across. Because here's the thing, guys, which direction, if Scott is going to his right, which direction is the only thing that he should be concerned with? To his right, right? Not up, not sideways, just right to the right, and that's it, okay? So right now, we're going to talk about the stance, and this is pretty interesting where we came up with this. Scott is going to keep his legs relatively straight at the knees. He's going to fold over a ton at the waist. He's actually going to roll his head forward, and he's going to have his hand barely touching the ground with the weight on the balls of the feet and his right foot slightly backwards, which is going to create a space for him to move to the right. Now this position right here is not comfortable when he does it, okay? Because this isn't a position that you're used to getting in. And he's going to have this arm locked at the side, ready to explode forward, okay? Just like that arm at 90 degrees and everything we talked about. His head is rolled, his legs are relatively straight, so he feels a big stretch on the hamstring, and the hand has no weight on it, as you can see, but it's just ready there touching the ground. You guys see that? Because in a few minutes, we're going to work on that stance, okay? But what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about some common mistakes, what happens out of the stance, even when you get it right. And then we're going to have everybody break off and try it out. Scott's going to get in the stance. The most common mistake that I've ever seen is the first thing that an athlete does is he pops straight up. Now, why I want to bring that up or why I want to talk about that is, what is the whole measurement of this test? What is the score that you get in any of these tests? It's time, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that time exists in a lot of directions and a lot of planes. So check it out. First rule of the test is he has to start on that line. Where does he have to touch next? That line. So somebody tell me, what's the shortest distance between 2 points? Straight line. So if Scott gets down there and he pops straight up, is he on that straight line anymore? No. So what just happened is, and we've broken this down on high-speed video, Scott just came up and took almost 3/10 of a second to come right to here. 3/10, gone. Now here's the magic part. How much time is it going to cost to go back down? 3/10. Now we're talking. So now you're 6/10 in the hole. 6/10 in the hole. And you say, man, I ran that one hard. How come my time sucks? And it's because we're not following the whole principles of time. So check it out. Here's something I want you guys to picture. When Scott's down right here, does everybody see this point right here? If I put like a marble on his back, do you guys see it? This point right here, I want you to imagine an imaginary line that is drawn down to that line, and an imaginary line that's drawn down to that line like a rooftop. You guys see it? Now that rooftop is your path. You can only be on that line and that's it. The crazy part is, what we're going to tell you right now, guys, is you can never be any higher than this. Your head, your body, anything. You can never be any higher than this point the whole test. If you're not, you're going to run a great time. If you are, you're giving time back, because that means you're going up and you're coming back down, which is adding time on. And when Scott puts his arm out on that rooftop line again, also, the line also means you have to stay there. We've seen guys run on hooks. We've seen guys run on turns. So time doesn't just exist in the up and down direction. It also exists in the side to side, which a lot of guys make mistakes on. So you're just running on one straight line, one direction, and that's all. Does that make sense? Is this helping out? Do you guys, did you think like that before? Good. Now how about this? Shoe wear, critical for performance. This turf, which you have the luxury for, is the same turf that they use in the combine. Field turf and other things that you guys have run on, you can see that it's a slippery surface. Time also exists in terms of friction. So we've watched guys run and slide, and when they slide, that's tenths of time gone. So when you hit and your body slides, it's 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, and now you're out of there. Instead of touch and go, now you're gone. So proper shoes is critical. We like the shoes. Those are some of our favorite shoes to wear, but again, you gotta find what works best for you. And it's preparation to know it. So you got to know, I got my 5 shoe, I got my shoe, I got my 40 shoe. You know what I mean? And find times also in there as well. There's a lot of people out there that teach the high stop, which I've seen. People, they say, okay, you're going to jump up and stop. Well, that time that you're in the air, time is ticking away. They put on the ground to be moving yourself in any direction positively towards getting a better time. There is no jump in the air, time feet are leaving the ground, or anything else. You guys got that? So again, we're going to talk about it here. So the rooftop, everybody should understand. Scott's going to get down from this position. His first thought process had a belt on him, and I had a cord that pulled directly straight down into that line. And imagine I tied that cord to my car and drove off 50 miles an hour. That's how I want him to explode sideways. So another common mistake that people make, in addition to that, when Scott gets down, now is he going to come up and turn and face this way as if that's running? And unfortunately, a lot of the linemen do that naturally because it's trained into them. And now Scott has, which time didn't move anywhere yet. And what does he do when he goes back that way? He's going to have to turn the way around again. So hopefully it makes sense, guys, that what we're going to show you is never turn. Stay facing that way for the first 5 yards, and then you turn to come back because it's 10 yards back. All right? So all these things is to utilize time, execute efficient technique. You guys